Okay, in this short instructional video, I will attempt to write a 10-minute analysis paragraph of one of our short stories from the short story unit. So we've been looking at and reading short stories over the last week. We're going to continue doing so. This is one of our new stories. It's called One of These Days by the excellent writer Gabriel Garcia Marquez. So you can see that I've gone ahead and started with my close reading or my analytical reading, as we call it, and I've been looking at the different elements of the story through the three windows that we've been proposing as our analytical tools. So we remember that the beta level is looking at things like characters, setting, the inciting incident, the rising action, climax, things like that. The alpha level considers things like metaphor, simile, personification, alliteration. And then there's the omega level, which looks at some of the more advanced features like dialogue, symbolism, and of course theme. Which are so as we go through the analysis process, we start with beta, which is kind of the rudimentary level. Then we go up to the next, which is alpha, and we consider some of these potentially more advanced literary features. And then we're going to end with the discussion of dialogue, symbolism, and theme. So you can see that I've read the story. I just finished reading the story actually and making my notes. It took me about 20 minutes to do that. So now we're going to jump straight into the analysis paragraph. So remember, when we're doing an analysis, we always indent our paragraph. Our topic sentence should state exactly what we're doing. It should also include the title of the story and the author's name. Okay, so also let's remember that when we're doing our paragraphs, we want to do double spacing. It just makes it easier for the person who's going to read it later. So you can see that we've included those three important pieces of the topic sentence. We've got the title, we've got the author. You only need to use the author's last name because we're following APA parameters. So now we're going to move into looking at the initial level, that beta level or the rudimentary level of the literary tools. So remember, we're using our triad of support writing tool. And in the triad of support, we always have three parts at a minimum, or three sentences at a minimum. You've got your topic sentence or the idea sentence, which kind of introduces what you're going to talk about first. Then you'll have your second sentence, which is your evidence, or another way to put it is it's your citation. And then finally, you have your explanation sentence. And another way to talk about that is that's your analysis. That's where your voice and your intelligence come out to show what you've interpreted through the story. So we add the author's name. If you go back to the very top, you'll see that we've included the date of publication, so that will help with your citations. And then we need to make sure we put the page number down as well to help the reader. And we can see that these things are all going to be happening. Let's see here. We'll say page 1. Yes, okay, perfect. And remember, citation spacing is important. Okay, so that would qualify, this chunk here would qualify as my first triad. It's got the idea sentence. Actually, no, it's from up here. Sorry. It's got the idea sentence at the top. Then we have a paraphrase that includes the data I'm borrowing from the story. And then it's got my explanation. Now notice, this is something to be aware of, is that we need to put our signal verbs into the past tense. And then we switch into the present tense, which shows that I've now shifted into my voice. Okay, so we'll want to have a bit of a transition here, and we'll move into the second level, or second window of our analysis. Okay, so let's not forget to include our date. So you'll notice what I do there is when I'm in the flow of the moment and I'm getting a sentence written down, I don't necessarily stop to put the date in, but once I've got my idea out, I circle back around to make sure those pieces are included. And so then we'll go back and we will check, where do we see the buzzards? There, so the buzzards are on page 1, and the infected tooth is on page 3. So when you do have multiple pages, page 1 and page 3, so this is how we would correctly write that. So now I've done my idea sentence, I've done my paraphrase or citation, which is the evidence from the story,